I found these old French decoration and lifestyle magazines. Inside there are many ideas that provide inspiration for making miniatures. However, I want to go beyond just finding ideas. I will use them to make miniatures, at least some of the patterns they contain. Here is my method. First, I cut out the photographs that have patterns or colors that I like. Then I stick them in what I call my pattern notebook. The glue should be school glue stick. It will make it easy to remove the cutouts when I want to use them. There's nothing fancy about my pattern notebook. It's just tissue paper that I salvaged from wrappers and stapled. The cutouts are more or less categorized by patterns or themes, or what I plan to do with them. I particularly look for everything that can allow me to make labels. We never have enough mini labels. These plates have a nice pattern that I want to use to make porcelain plant pots. Since the shape of the plate is curved, it should be simple. You have to choose the areas where the image is not blurred. As I already know what I'm going to do with them, I stick them on thick paper with Mod Podge. I take care to put a layer on the printed pattern to protect it from later steps, because it is very fragile. When the glue is dry, just cut following the already rounded shape to create the pot. In a previous video, I show you how to make plant pots that seem to be made of terracotta. If you're interested, I'll put the link in the description below the video. I'm using the same technique here, but it's less precise because I don't have a template, and I have to adapt to the shape of the cutouts. The bottom is not made with a template, because each pot has its own shape and size. The simplest method is therefore to stick the pot on thick paper, and then cut around it. This piece has a wavy shape which will give a slightly different, but very nice pot. I used absolutely all the parts of the plates in the photo that I had cut out. That's a good amount of plant pots. I wanted the inside of the jars to be blue and decided to use watercolor. Watercolor has this transparency that makes it look like painting on porcelain. However, that was not necessarily the best choice because it complicated things later, and anyway, the inside of the pots is difficult to see once the plants are installed. But that's the choice I made at the time. I have to deal with it now. Next time I would seriously consider acrylic. As I was worried about the watercolor mixing with the next coat of diamond glaze, I decided to seal it with glossy Mod Podge. However, it is in the Mod Podge that the watercolor is red-diluted when it was apparently very dry. I still managed to complete the task, but I had to clean my brush before plunging it back into the moldboard jar, so as not to color everything blue. It was at this point that I decided that I wanted some sources for the plant parts. I used the same technique as for the sources in my previous video, and I added a border of blue watercolor to match the pots. The final touch is the diamond glaze. If you follow my videos, you know I love using this stuff. It really gives the appearance of porcelain. And here's the final result. I'm very happy with these Chinese porcelain plant pots. They are adorable. They will undoubtedly find a place in my mini greenhouse. When I spot round patterns in magazines, I cut them out to make plates. I use fruit juice lids which give me the shape of the plates. Here the green pattern is in fact a candlestick made of mosaic. You can see the candle in the middle. I trace the shape of the plate to cut the pattern to the right size. Then the pattern is glued on and sealed with Mod Podge. These plates are very easy to make, however. The result is not perfect because there will be a fold in the paper that cannot be avoided. But they will still have their effect. Placed vertically at the bottom of a shelf with an object in front to hide the fold. The border is decorated with matching color markers. The diamond glaze makes them more realistic. You'll think I use it in all my miniatures and, to tell the truth, it's almost right. At least in the miniatures supposed to be porcelain. I really like this technique of making miniature plates. It's so easy and so quick. And we always find a way to hide the defects with food, for example, or a towel. I found many lovely patterns in my magazine. Some were lampshades or lanterns, another a pencil holder. I want to turn them into cake boxes or tea tins. Making a basic, cylindrical shape is very easy. starting from a rectangle. This basic shape can then be transformed into a cylinder box, or even a cubic box. To make the cubic box, I simply make folds by crushing the cylinder. For these two matching boxes, I chose to make cardboard lids. The lids are painted with silver acrylic paint. As I found the round lid too plain, I decided to add a bit of interest with a string. For the next box, I had a strass that seemed perfect for the lid. It therefore required a little attention and precision to make the box the right size. I was lucky though because I didn't take a measurement. I just folded the paper around the strass and I got it right. As you can see, the paper is thicker than magazine paper. I took the precaution to stick it on thick paper to make the process easier. I repeated these techniques with the other cutouts. The base of each box is colored with matching colors using markers. This removes the edges of the paper at the bottom. For the top of the last box, I use gold acrylic paint and I redo the string trick. In the photograph I cut out for this box, there were very contrasting shadows. It's very interesting for miniatures provided you pay attention to where you place the shadows. Here they are at the bottom of the box. Now I have to find suitable labels for each box. Luckily, I have a small supply in my pattern notebook. Here I choose to use a cutout which was not a label at the start, but a tube of lipstick. This time, no diamond glaze finish, although diamond glaze or shiny Mod Podge will bring a more metallic finish to the boxes. Indeed, I am not sure yet in which project I will use them. Maybe I'll need to age them and rust them. So I'll do the finishing at that time. This is what all my little boxes look like. I really like them, and I must admit that I love making them. I still have the other series of miniatures that I made from my old magazines. Vintage shoeboxes and hat boxes. However, I could not include them in this video, which would have been too long. Also, the editing was taking too long and I didn't want to keep you waiting. So, those creations will be in my next video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, so you don't miss it.